Right, everyone. Sorry for the delay. I was out from my home, so I was just rushing to there. Right. So, yeah. So, yeah. Let's wait another 1 minute until others get connected. Right. There are people still there. Right. So let's start the sessions. So last time we discussed about the things regarding the second lesson, right? So I hope you can remember the things that we discussed, and I wonder whether I gave you any homework last time to like filling out some things. Okay, so let's proceed from the place that we have finished up the things. Let me take your the textbook. Yeah, so we talked about the hard disk, and can anyone update me at whether we have wrote down what are the hard disk components are? Did we went through that stuff? Yes, people. Did we? Yeah, I think we finished with this particular table as well, Nathan. We didn't went to solid state
Yes,
device.
sir.
Yeah, we did. Yes. All right. So now the reason that this particular devices are called solid state devices, it is because it doesn't have any moving parts, right? So those moving parts means like you can remember when we talk about the hard disk, I told you like there are this platter which goes around, right, which is rotating, and this head which goes back and forth, right? So it is again moving. So if you take these magnetic or the other storage devices, they have some moving parts. But here in the solid state devices, that does not have any moving parts. That's why it's called solid state. So solid means ඝන කියන අර්ථය තියෙන අපිට සිංහලෙන්. So එයා හෙලවෙන්නේ නැති. Right? Solid state. So if you take a USB stick, inside it, it's just a circuit, right? And if you think about an SSD, solid state drive, it's just an again it's just a circuit, right? So no moving parts inside it. So using these like IC technologies and all these things, they made up these solid state drivers, right? So you know the USB flash drives, and when it comes to the SD cards, secure digital cards, those also categorize under the solid state device category, right? So we learned about three things now. Like we talked about magnetic media or the magnetic storage and optical storage, as well as a third one, the solid state storages, right? Okay, let's write this down and I'll show you how the solid state, what kind of a arrangement is there inside a solid state device, right? Let's first write this down, right? So let me share the screen first. Right, so have your heading solid state devices, right? And yeah, the very first sentence regarding the solid state devices that you should copy. And people, if the government allow us to continue the physical classes, so the physical class will be start by the Monday. Like if it goes to the Monday, it's not going to be this Monday, it's going to be the next Monday. So online people, you will be having your class for the very same time, no changes. But there are people who are from the physical classes as well, mine. So those have to visit my place, right? So I'll confirm. So we'll see, right? Right. So if you once you copy these things down, then as the examples, write the USB flash drive and the uh, memory card. Right. It's better you within brackets. It's better you say SD card, secure digital cards. Right. So for the example, we say USB flash drive and memory cards, like the solid state drives. Ramindu, we are going to talk about it, Buddha, during the lesson, how the kilobytes and megabytes and all these things are happening. So I'll show you how it happens, right? Don't worry. Right. Are we done here? Right. So one is done. How about others? Right, two are done. Okay, so let's move forward. So for examples, just recheck. Have you write the USB flash drive and the memory card, and within brackets, SD card, secure digital card, right? So those should be there. Okay, so before we move to the computer ports, I think I have download some video regarding the magnetic drive, as I remember. Let me see. Right. Yeah, hold on until I save it with the slide.
He conseguido liberarme. It's hard to believe that all your photos, videos, music, messages, and apps can be stored in the palm of your hand. And to most of us, it's a mystery how so much information can fit in such a small space. But it might not seem so surprising when you see the complexity inside your smartphone, or the inside of this 1 terabyte solid-state drive, commonly found in laptops or computers. However, as seeing the outside of this memory storage microchip tells us little about how these smartphones and solid-state drives can store tens of thousands of photos and files, let's explore deeper and zoom in until we get to a nanoscopic view. And it's here that we can see the structures called VNAND that hold all the data in your smartphone and computer. Here's where the real magic happens. Every picture, message, and bit of information gets saved as quantities of electrons inside these memory cells, which are called charge-trap flash. And in this episode, we'll learn how smartphone memory and solid-state drives work. Now, hold on. These insanely small and intricate structures seem very complex. And yeah, they are. I'm not going to say this marvel of engineering is simple, but you have to trust me. Stick around, watch closely, maybe watch this video twice, and by the end of it, this technology will amaze you. It'll blow your mind at least twice over. And yeah.
Right. So, he has expand the hard disk and show it to you how it happens, right? So this is something that they have done it in the real world. Like here, they just open it and show it to us.
Here we have a brand new Samsung 500 gig 860 Evo. Now, what do we think's actually inside this? So when I first opened one of these, I assumed that the whole thing was full of SSD NAND chips. I was a little bit mistaken. There is some empty space in here. So I assume that the construction of the 500 gig and the 1 terabyte and 256 gig are probably all pretty similar, just with different NAND chips. But inside of this SSD is this little board. That's it.
See how little the circuit is.
That's all that there is.
And in there, the big one, the bigger chip is the one which
I
contains the
assume
data.
here is where the other chip would go. This were, say, a 1 terabyte model. Probably just got 2 of the 500 gig chips.
So no movable parts.
Not very big.
As I told you.
Not what I was expecting.
Right. So that is what happens with the solid state devices. Right. So let's take down things about solid state devices. Right. Okay. So yeah, we took down those. Yeah. So the next one is the computer ports. Now, computer ports, like if you like referring to your phone, mobile phone, or the tab, or the laptop, or the desktop, you can find different kinds of ports where it is given us the ability to connect peripheral devices. That means the devices which we are like connecting to our computer, like mouse, keyboard, printers, and all these things, as well as some other devices too, like the USB pen drives and external hard disk and all these things. So to do this, we have ports in the motherboard, like which is connected with the motherboard, but that ports are the only places visible to the outer side. So as you can see, the same number of ports are over here. So they are connected with the weld into the motherboard, right? But this surface, පුංචි surface එක තමයි මෙතන මේ අපිට system එකේ දකින්න හම්බෙන්නේ එළියට. But if we open it and see, it is like this. So there are various kind of ports, right? So these two are called the PC2. I'm sorry, Ps2 ports, right? So earlier, nowadays it is very rare to find these two ports because this was used to connect the mouse and the keyboard. But nowadays, the keyboard and the mouse are mostly used using the USB type. These two ports are no longer producing or are no longer sending with the computers, which are the modern computers. Instead, they use the USB drives, right? USB ports, universal serial bus, right? However, the purple color was for the keyboard and the green color was for the mouse, right? So in earlier days, it was only these two ports that they had the ability to connect a mouse and a keyboard. And again, those days, this port does not work as a plug and play port, right? Plug and play port එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ දැන් අපි computer එකට අලුතෙන් keyboard එකක් USB keyboard එකක් අපිට computer එකේ වැඩ කර කර ඉන්න ගමන් connect කරලා ඒ වෙලාවෙම එයාව අඳුනගෙන අපිට වැඩ කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. It gives us the ability to type. But those days, if we disconnect this keyboard from this particular port and reconnect it, it is not being detected until a restart happens, right? So we call these two PS2, which is not a plug and play port. And the parallel port, I hope you haven't seen this in your computers. It is something very big, which shows over here, right? And this parallel port is majorly used to connect the printers. And again, today we are connecting our printer into our USB ports. So now you can imagine how different, or like what the change that is done by the USB port. That is why it is called universal serial bus. Later we are going to learn universal. So it is supporting for many different devices, as well as replace many different ports, right? So parallel port, this is called, and it has 25 holes, as well as the USB port is mostly used for connect the printer into a computer, right? And the HDMI, it's a modern one, high definition multimedia interface. Now, high definition multimedia interface, we learned this HDMI used to connect the computer and the monitor, right? So HDMI is there in the system unit back panel, as well as HDMI port is there on the television's back panel. So then we are going to communicate in between those. So this is like before the HDMI is here, it was the VGA and the DVI ports which does the same thing, like rather the lesser amount of work. So like if you take a VGA, it's only for graphic. So it will send the graphic from the system unit to the monitor, VGA, video graphic adapter. And DVI, it was quality than the VGA, but still sound is a challenge to him. And as the third one, we find HDMI, high definition multimedia interface. So in all two previous methods, it's only had the ability to transfer the graphical data. But HDMI, by his name, you can understand it's high definition multimedia interface. So multimedia means audio and video both. So when you are having a connection with a HDMI cable, whatever the thing that you are playing in your computer will be transmitted with sound to the other device to be presented or to be connected. Right? So remember, HDMI is the one which has the ability of sending the things, or like what we call sending the audio and video together when you are communicating. Right? So because of this, it is very popular in multimedia projectors, digital TVs, digital speakers, and all these things. Right? Then ඔයගලන්ගේ ගෙදර සමහර විට PO TV හරි නැත්නම් dialog TV හරි නම් පාවිච්චි කරන්න. ඒකට එනවා set top box එක කියලා පොඩි box එකක්. Right? So that set top box is the one which has, or like which contains the system. Right? එයාට තමයි පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ capture කරගන්න signal එක decode කරලා අපිට මොනවද කියලා පෙන්නන්න. So we are taking the video out, or like videos කියන දේවල් fetch කරලා දෙන්නේ. It's the DVI. I'm sorry, it's the set-top box. So set-top box එකට HDMI එකක් තමයි connect වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඔයාට ඒ set-top box එකෙන් එන audio වේවා video වේවා can be taken to the displaying device. Right? එහෙම නොවුන නම් අපිට සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ අපිට video වලට එක cable එකකුත් audio ටික අරන් යන්න තව cable එකකුත් උවමනා වෙනවා. Specific cables. Right? So that is what we call HDMI. And RJ45, it is a very famous one, but you may not know about it even though you use it. Then මේ port එක තමයි අපිට network එකක් හදනකොට we use this most, and as well as when we are connecting a router to our computer, we use this port. Right? So this router or the other devices which connected this have the ability to connect with the RJ45 connector. RJ45 connector එක කියලා කියන්නේ telephone jack එකට. Right? So that telephone jack is containing many different data. Right? So and the end of the network wire, we find the RJ45 connector. Right? මෙතන මේ RJ45 එකට connect කරන්න කියන්නේ RJ45 jack එක. ඔයගලන්ගේ telephone land phone line එක ගලවලා බැලුවොත් එයාගේ කෙළවරේ තියෙන RJ45 connector. ඒකට එයාව connect වෙන එක විතරයි, connect කරන එක විතරයි උතන කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. Yes, Udamya, yes. Ethernet ports කියලාත් කියන්න පුළුවන්. Right? No problem. and audio ports or jacks, right? So when it comes to the audio ports, there are many different kinds of audio ports if you take a like a special sound card or something. But basically, there are three types: blue for line in, green for line out, that means for the speakers and all these things, and pink is for microphone, right? So when you need to add your sound into the computer, you have to connect your mic to the this particular mic jack, right? Microphone jack. And if you need to like listen a song in your home or in your computer or somewhere, you can connect your buffers or the speakers to this particular thing, right? Sometimes the interface can be changed into මේකට jack කරන ප්‍රමාණය ඊළඟට jack එකේ විදිහ වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට auxiliaries කියන type එකේ AUX කියන type එකේ තියෙන ඒවා ගොඩක් වෙලාවට එක සමානයි, right? එතකොට ඒක කනෙක්ට් කරනවා එක end එකකට අනිත් end එක කනෙක්ට් වෙනවා headphones හරි headset හරි එකට, so you can hear the voice. Ravindu, I'll send you a message, Ravindu, because it is not very easy for you to do it when it comes to a laptop. You have to take it to a technician. Right, and line in, this particular one, the blue color one is there to take the audio from an external device, like a cassette recorder or a CD player, external one, or some other thing, to take the sounds from that particular thing to our computer, right? So that is what we call line in. And most of the times අපි line in කියන එක පාවිච්චි කරනවා with a what we call right? Subwoofer එක නෙවෙයි, what is that thing, people, when we are like connecting speakers and we have the controllers in a separate box, what we call that?
Amp.
Yeah, yes, Buddha.
Amp.
Yes, that's right, it's the amplifier, right? So amp එකක් හරහා you can take the sound into the computer, so you need a line in to connect the amp with your computer, right? So that is the major things that a audio port or a jack can do. And USB, as we talked, universal serial bus, it is the key point for a lot of devices, or the key port for a lot of devices. If you need to connect a phone, you need to connect it USB. If you are going to connect a speaker, you are going to connect it the USB. If you need a keyboard, mouse, still you are going with the USB, right? Even a webcam, go with the USB, right? So like it works as the name says, universal, right? And video port, VGA, video graphic adapter, it is there to communicate graphics only, right? And it is the oldest technology, right? And it is just communicating graphics only. And the serial port, earlier you remember we talked about the parallel port. So serial port, it was used to connect a modem, right? So nowadays USB is taken care of those things, right? But earlier days, if you got a modem, there should be a place or a circuit for them to like fix it there, right? So like how can I say that? It's like this. Now, these days you are just taking a router to connect with the internet. So earlier days, there were nothing called router for us to get connected. We had modems. So modem is going to connect with the computer and the telephone line is going to connect with the modem. So then the data of the computer through the modem will go to the telephone line, right? But nowadays, these routers has the modem function. So we don't need something to be connected specifically. It is just configured inside. Right. So those are the story about the ports. Right. Did you got any idea regarding these ports? Can I have the confirmation?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. All right. So let's write these things down. Then I'll show you a very little short video about the ports. Right. It's kind of an animation. Right. Write the subheading computer ports. Udamya, modem is not called as dongles, but dongle is having the functionality of a modem. Right? Can modem making modem making functionality we call it's modulating and demodulating. Modem කියන වචනේ හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ එහෙමයි. MO එක ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ modulate කියන වචනෙන්. DOM කියලා එන්නේ DEM කියලා එන්නේ demodulate කියන එක. Right? So modulation and demodulation is required to convert the signal from digital to analog and to analog to digital. But earlier days we had that requirement, and there were the modem was the only thing that has the capability of doing that. But when the technology evolves, the people planned it or like design it to have that functionality inside the router. So we don't need to take two devices like modem and a router. Just having a router will give us many facilities, right? And dongle is one of the components which had that facility embedded into it. Right? Okay, so computer ports, the heading, and yeah, you better say the first line and the last line of this particular paragraph. First and the last line. Right, the highlighted one and the last line. Are you done? Yes, Pehara, when it comes to the modem and a router, then api router එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ now modern routers, the routers that you can see at your home is not just a router. It has several different functions. එයාගේ ඇතුලේ modem එක විදියට වැඩ කරන function එකක් තියෙනවා. ඊළඟට අපි ඒ level කරන්න ගියාම ඉගෙන ගන්නවා DHCP server function එක තියෙනවා කියලා. ඊළඟට routing function එක දැන් route කරනවා කියන එකේ සිංහල තේරුම මෙහෙයවනවා මග හසුරවනවා කියන එකනේ. දැන් policeman කෙනෙක් junction එකේ ඉඳලා කරන්නේ route කරන එක. He says how to go, right? So routing means that router එක කරන්නේ එයාට එන data එක කොතනටද යන්න ඕනේ කියන එක හොයලා බලලා යවන එක. දැන් මේ අපි මෙහෙම කතා කරනකොට මගේ ගෙදරින් මම කතා කරන මම මේ ෂෙයා කරලා තියෙන දේ තියෙන්නේ මගේ ගෙදර කම්පියුටර් එකේ ඒක ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ ෆෝන් එකට හරි කම්පියුටර් එකට හරි පේන්නේ මේ data එක මගේ router එකෙන් ඊළඟට ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ network එකේ තියෙන routers අතරමඟ තියෙන ඒවට පැනලා ඇවිල්ලා ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ ගෙදර router එකට පැනලා ඔයාගේ device එකට පැනනයින් පස්සේ right එතකොට මේ route එකෙන් route එකට පයින්නවා කියන එක හිතුමතේ කරන්න බෑ. So that is the main function of a router. When router receive a data, router sees what is the most efficient path to be sent. මේ data එක යවන්න පුළුවන් හොඳම පාර මොකක්ද කියලා එයා බලනවා. එහෙම බලලා තමයි එයා ඊළඟට තියෙන router එකට data එක තල්ලු කරන්නේ. right? ඒතර ඒ router එක ඒ data එක අල්ලගත්තම එයා බලනවා මෙයාට යන්න තියෙන අන්තිමට මේ තැනට මොකද්ද හොඳම පාර යන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ එයාට හොඳයි කියලා හිතන පාරට ඒක තල්ලු කරනවා. So that is the function of the router. Modem එක කරන්නේ the conversion. Analog to digital, digital to analog. Right? දැන් අපේ ඔය සාමාන්‍ය ටෙලිෆෝන් network එක අරගත්තොත් ඒක analog network එකක්. එතකොට digital data එකක් දැන් මේ කම්පියුටර් එකේ තියෙන data යවනකොට analog network එකක් ඇතුලේ digital data යවන්න බෑ. එතකොට digital data analog කරලා analog එක ඇතුලේ යවලා ඊට පස්සේ analog data ආයි digital කරලා තමයි ඒ digital device එකට පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ. right? ඔක අපි කතා කරනවා A levels වලදී. මෙහෙදි ලොකුවට කතා කරන්නේ නැහැ. right? okay. So right. All right, so let's proceed. Yeah. And regarding these ports, I'll tell you what to be written, right? So first one, Ps2 port, and people, it's better if you can have this diagram onto your books, right? ඒක අතින් යන්නත් කමක් නැහැ. හරි පාට ටික පාවිච්චි කරලා. හැබැයි හරි හැඩය manage කරගන්න. right? එහෙම නැත්නම් මෙහෙම තනියෙන් ඉන්න කට්ටිය හැදුවත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඔයා කැමති නම් ඔයාට ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකෙන් ෆොටෝස් හොයාගෙන print out කරලා අලවන්නත් පුළුවන්. right? That is up to you. right? okay, so the first port, Ps2 port, yeah. Yeah, it's better you write these two things, these two lines regarding the Ps2 port. Right, are we done? අඳින එක දැන් අඳින්න එපා. ගෙදරදී complete කරගන්න අඳින්න ඉඩ තියාගන්න අවශ්‍ය නම්. Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
I'm done.
Okay, so regarding the parallel port, have the subheading parallel port and the first two lines. Right, so moving forward, HDMI, it's better you write the extraction as well, high definition multimedia interface. Yeah, it's better you go like as 2 points. Can be seen especially in laptops. That's going to be the first point. Can be seen especially in laptops. And the second one, connect the monitor, multimedia projector, digital TV and digital speakers to the computer. Right, if you are done with HDMI, you have to copy the RJ45 port entirely, right? You just have only one sentence. So remember the shapes of these ports, right? You will be getting these things in your papers, and they will ask what's the name, or like you hardly taking once you are like you provide with the name and ask to draw the USB or like the draw the particular port. most of the cases, port will be given and will be asked you to match or write the name or whatever. Right, let me know when you are done, people. Yeah, people, can we proceed? Right. Okay, so we are moving. The last two is the last two. Oh no, we got two more. Audio port jacks. Okay, regarding it, yeah, you write it like connects audio media like microphone, speaker, headphones to my computer system, and the description of the checks. That means like from here to here you have to write. Yeah, and regarding the USB, it's the entire thing that you need to write, right? Right, are we done, people? And regarding the USB, you can find these kind of symbols, right? So just concentrate about the symbols as well, right? Right, okay. One is done. How about others? All right, so let's go for the very last two things: video port, video graphic adapter, which is the VGA, and the serial port. Right, so regarding the VGA, yeah, it's better you write the entire thing, people. It has the important parts together. And same goes with the serial port. Yeah. So copy the entire things. Right, people, if you are done, just let me know. We have another short video to see. Okay, one is done. How about the others? Right. Ravindu, example means like now for ports, we just wrote the name and these two lines, like which is under it, Buddha, right? And the serial port with these lines. It's not just the heading. Right. So shall we move? Is there anyone still writing? No. Right. Okay. So let's move. Now this is a short video about the ports to have your attention and to make things.
Every computer has its own set of buttons and ports. In this video, we're going to talk about some of the most common ones, including what they're for and how to recognize them. Some buttons are universal, like the power button. Depending on the type of computer you have, it may be on the front, on the back behind the screen, or even on the inside when you open the lid.
I'll play it from the beginning.
Every computer has its own set of buttons and ports. In this video, we're going to talk about some of the most common ones, including what they're for and how to recognize them. Some buttons are universal, like the power button. Depending on the type of computer you have, it may be on the front, on the back behind the screen, or even on the inside when you open the lid. The power socket is where you'll connect the power cord. If you have a laptop, you'll have a charging port instead. Most computers provide more than one USB port, so you can plug in any device you might need. Keyboards, printers, and USB drives are all common examples. Some computers even have USB-C ports, which can be used for many different things, not just plugging in devices. Laptops, for instance, often use the format for the charging port. If you have a desktop, you'll use the monitor port to connect the monitor. There are quite a few types of monitor connections, ranging from HDMI to the USB-C style we just mentioned. If you have a laptop, you can connect a separate monitor as long as you have the right equipment. Just look for the display port and plug in the appropriate cable. The Ethernet port lets you connect to the internet if you're not using Wi-Fi. All you need is an Ethernet cable, which you can then connect to your modem or router. If your computer has an audio jack, you can use it to plug in wired headphones or speakers. You may or may not have a disk drive, depending on how old your computer is and who makes it. The disk drive can be used to insert a CD, a DVD, or a Blu-ray disc. If you have ports that look like this, they're for older peripherals like mice, keyboards, and printers. Newer versions of these devices usually connect via USB or wirelessly. And that covers the basics of buttons and ports. Of course, every computer is different, and technology is always changing. To find out what options you have, take a closer look at your computer.
GCF Global.
I hope you like that, right? So it's very will be very easy for you to understand if when you see something like that, right? Okay, so people, we are going to go to the data communication. Data communication, in simple words, it is about the network, right? So now this data communication generally talks about how we are sending some data from one place to another place, or rather from one device to another device. You are very much involved with networking or the data communication, since like we are very much into this chat applications and all these the internet instance messaging applications like Viber, WhatsApp, Imo, right? There are many Messenger, a lot of things are there, right? So what actually happens, like WhatsApp, Viber, all these things are just one example, right? We do a lot of things, like even if when you are like sending an email, uh, it's kind of a data communication, right? Sending something from one place to another, right? So when you are doing the data communication, there are these components that you need. That you need means like they are like to successfully complete a data communication, we need these things. First thing, the sender or the source should be there, and second one is the receiver or the destination should be there. And to carry the message from sender to the receiver, there should be a medium, right? Then මේ මම කතා කරන දේ ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඇහෙන්නේ මෙතනදී නම් මගේ හඬ තමයි මුලින්ම මගේ මයික්‍රොෆෝන් එකකින් කැප්චර් කරගන්නේ. දැන් එතකොට මගේ හඬ මයික්‍රොෆෝන් එක ගාවට යනකනුත් ඩේටා එකක් තමයි යන්නේ. මගේ වොයිස් කියන ඩේටා එක මගේ ලැප්ටොප් එකේ මයික්‍රොෆෝන් එක ගාවට යනවා. ඒ යනකොට එයාට මීඩියම් එකක් තියෙනවද? තියෙනවා. මොකක්ද මීඩියම් එක? එයාට තමයි අපි එයා කියලා කියන්නේ, වාතය. එයා තමයි හඬ අරගෙන යන මීඩියම් එක වෙන්නේ, මාධ්‍ය වෙන්නේ. So likewise, once the receiver, once it is received by my computer, it will be sent to your devices. Now, when that particular sound, my sound, when it is reaching to your devices, they may have used different kinds of mediums. Neither the monk connected in a wireless router. එතකොට මගේ කම්පියුටර් එකට මගේ voice ආවම wirelessly ගිහිල්ලා තමයි මගේ router එකට connect වෙන්නේ, right? So router එක wireless signal එක දුන්නට මගේ router එකට එන main connection එක තියෙන්නේ, it's from the SLT fiber connection, right? So router එකට ගිය කෙනා ඊට පස්සේ යන්නේ wired media එකක, wire එකක් ඇතුලෙන් යන්නේ, right? So likewise, the medium is like that. There are two types, which is wired and wireless, right? අපි ඔකට guided and unguided කියලා කියනවා, right? So then මෙතන මේගොල්ලෝ කියපු නැති දෙයක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි message එක, data එක, ඒක අනිවාර්යෙන් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Then after like data වලටත් හිතුමතේ යන්න බෑ ඔය තියෙන guidance ඇතුලේ, right? පුතේ එක්ස්පෙරිමන්ට් කරන්න එපා ක්ලාස් එක යන වෙලාවට අනිත් අයට disturb, right? So wire එක ඇතුලේ data එක යනකොට යාට wire එක වේවා wirelessly වේවා data එක තැනක ඉඳලා තව තැනකට travel කරනකොට ඒකට තියෙනවා certain rule set එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක හරියට අපි vehicle එකක් drive කරන්න පාරට දැම්මම අපිට ඕන විදිහට vehicle එක drive කරන්න බෑනේ. There are some set of rules. So the driver have to obey to those rules to move on the road, right? So the very same way, this data or the messages should obey to the rules of the communication. So these rules are said as protocols, right? සිංහලෙන් අපි ඔකට කියනවා නියමාවලියක් කියලා, protocol. So these 5 components are combined together to have a successful communication between sender and the receiver. So sender or the source should be there, receiver or the destination should be there. Medium can be a wired one or wireless one, and message should be there, and as well as the protocols should be there. So with all 5 components, we will do the communication properly, right? So yeah, so here they have talked about 3 things, right? Sender, medium, and the receiver, right? And message and protocol is also there. You better remember that. Take a පොතේ කියලා නැති නිසා ලොකුවට ඔයගලන්ගේ ඉම්ප්‍රෙස් කරලා අහන එකක් නෑ. But when it comes to the A levels, අපි ඔය components 5 ගැනම කතා බහ කරනවා, right? And then it's talk about the data transmission modes. Data කොහොමද transmit වෙන්නේ? Transmit වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ එක තැනක ඉඳලා තව තැනකට යන්නේ, right? So there are 3 types, which is simplex, half duplex, and full duplex, right? Now simplex mode means sender can communicate only the direction of the receiver, right? ඒ කියන්නේ parties දෙකක් ඉන්නවා නම් එක්කෙනෙකුට පුළුවන් එක පාටි එකකට පුළුවන් අනෙත් පාටි එකත් එක්ක communicate කරන්න, right? Then මම කියන එක ඕගලන්ට අහන් ඉන්න විතරයි නම් පුළුවන්. ඕගලන්ට මාත් එක්ක කතා කරන්න බැරි නම්, right? මාත් එක්ක communicate ඔය පැත්තෙන් කරන්න බෑ කියලා කියන්නේ අපි කියනවා ඒකට simplex communication එකක් කියලා. නේද? The best example that we can take is the television broadcasting, right? So whenever you switch on your TV, you are going to choose a channel and see what it is there, and watch and hear what the channel brings to you. You can't scream at the television, right? They won't hear you. Or scream negative hilla deval kiwada, they won't hear, right? So it is just simplex mode. Television broadcasting company or the tower will be there. They will broadcast things. So our antenna will capture it and show it to us. So we just watch and enjoy. That's all. So simplex. Eka dishawakata pamanai. Simplex. Right? And there is another mod called half duplex mod. So as the picture shows, the most closest example that we can take is the walkie-talkies that is on the policemen's, right? So like ඔගොල්ලෝ දැකලා ඇති walkie-talkie වලින් කතා කරනකොට නේද, they just call and at the last word they say it's over, then the other one start talking, right? So half duplex means you can communicate both the sides. දෙපැත්තටම communicate කරන්න පුළුවන්, but one side at a time. එක සලකනු ලබන එක අවස්ථාවකදී එක පැත්තකට විතරයි. එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලෝයි මමයි walkie talkies වලින් නම් communicate කරන්නේ. මම මගේ walkie talkie එකෙන් කතා කරන එක ඕගලන්ට ඇහෙනවා. So until that you are hearing I am talking. So communication වෙන්නේ from my side to your side. So once I say okay, then one of you is getting talked. So එතකොට ඔයාගේ පැත්තෙන් ඉඳලා මගේ පැත්තට data එක එනවා. එතකොට ඒකේනා ඔයා කතා කරනවා මට ඇහෙනවා. Right? So communicating to the both side, දෙපැත්තටම communicate කරගන්න පුළුවන්, but one side per time. Right? So that is called half duplex. Right? And the final method is the full duplex. Now it is a simple phone call that we experience nowadays, right? So 2 people can talk at the same time. Nothing has happened. Kisima බාධාවක් එන්නේ නැහැ. So when I'm calling, even you can call. Then මම මේ video conference call එකේදී මම කතා කරගෙන යන අතරතුරේ තව කෙනෙකුට ওই පැත්තට කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. මම කියලා තියෙන්නේ කතා කරන්න එපා කියලා. But they can talk. කතා කරාම අපිට අර කියන දේ පැහැදිලි නැති වෙනවා. මොකද මගේ හඬයි යාගේ හඬයි දෙක mix වෙන නිසා. But still we can communicate. Right? So this is called the full duplex mode. Right? So 3 types are there. Simplex, half duplex, full duplex. තේරුණාද? Yes, everyone, confirm whether you got it or not.
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. Right, great. Okay, so let's copy this down. නේද අපිට අද පොඩි වෙලාවක් මම පරක් වෙලා අපු නිසා මම මේ පොඩි වෙලාව අරගන්නවා. right කාට හරි classes පටන් ගන්නවා නම් disconnect වුණාට කමක් නැහැ. Otherwise just stay for another 7 to 8 minutes, right? Okay, so it's better you put the basic components required for data communication, and I'll draw the diagram. You can draw it with me, right? So write down the heading, basic component required for data communication. Hold on. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. Data communication is going to be the heading. Like under that, the subheading is going to be basic components required for data communication. Right. Meanwhile, I'll load your whiteboard right over here. Right. So for data communication, you can draw something like this, right? So this is going to be the device one. Yeah, device. Which is much better. Source within brackets, device or person. And this is destination. Again, device or person, right? And let's say this as the medium. And medium can be in two types, which is wired and wireless, right? So inside it, the message will be there. Oh, I'm sorry. The message as well as for this communication, it has some protocols. right? Set of rules involved in data communication, right? So this particular message is going from here to here. That is the traveling path. Right. So once you're done with this, let's end the session, right? Tapi ඊළඟ දවසේ simplex, duplex, half duplex එක තව ගැන කතා බහ කරගමු. Right. So